Our voice is vigor. We yell in protest, create, build, raise a rallying cry.
Hi, I'm Tova. I was the 2015 Oakland Youth Poet Laureate. Could you introduce yourself for the audience?
Hi, I'm Dara. I'm a 2021 Oakland Poet Laureate finalist.
And so, could you tell us, tell me a little bit about yourself? Like, where are you from? What school do you go to? And how did you get into poetry?
So I'm from right here in Oakland and I'm in 10th grade. And I really got into poetry just because of like the pandemic. I just had like a bunch of free time and I just started to write. And it kind of, throughout like these last 14 months, I've really gone like far just from like getting really into it. And it's become like one of my passions. So I really like to write every day, and I think it's like a way that I can express my voice and like in a unique way.
So, what kind of topics do you mainly write about? Is there any are there a couple themes that you primarily stick to?
Yeah, I mean, I think I talk a lot about like myself in relation to like the world that I see around me. I think that we've been like right now, especially, but like throughout this year we've gone through so much craziness, and I think that like poetry has been kind of a way for me to cope with like my emotions. So that's why I really kept at it, because like when you're like in a room by yourself for like 1 year, you don't really have that many people to vent to, and like poetry I guess is like a venting mechanism.
Yeah, that's amazing. I definitely that's how I have always seen poetry. Like for me, it always started out as a space and like a way for me to express myself. And it can be something that, you do on your own and only you see the poetry, or you can share it with other people. And, so that brings me to wondering, if you were to be the Oakland Youth Poet Laureate, how would you use poetry and your platform to connect to Oakland, to the Bay Area, and to young people?
Oakland is really like filled with activists. Like I see the kids every single day in Oakland, and these are people that want to fight. I look, every single issue, they're really on top of it. They're well educated. But I think one problem is that a lot of these teenagers don't have a voice and don't have the mechanism, don't have a loudspeaker to make make effective change, not just in our community, but the entire country, and make really put an imprint in the world. I believe that one person really truly can make huge changes. And I think that if I was going to be Oakland Poet Laureate, I would be that microphone for other people. I would get people involved. I would make sure that every single kid in Oakland has a voice and has someone that backs what they believe. Because I think with the power that we have, we could change everything that's wrong right now.
And so, what do you believe are things that need to change, and that you think you can help with, and that you think, young people in Oakland can address?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's so many things. I think that politics, for instance, I think we live in such a our political system is just so corrupt, big donor money and all this different stuff, corruption. And I think that young people can change that. But I also look at, racial justice, how many people need to die because of police brutality for us to finally wake up and do something? And I also think that climate change is going to affect us, and we need to do something about that. That's something I'm really passionate about. And also just making sure that we live in an equitable society. I mean, I think that there's a huge problem in our country with, and just in Oakland, with disparity and what people have and what people don't have. I think that if I had that microphone, I want to, that's something that I would really want to focus on.
And so, I think, probably like my last question that I have is, even though, we just talked about some of the difficulties that we are facing in our society and that we face in Oakland, but what is something that you admire about Oakland? Like, what's something that you enjoy about the city and that you love about Oakland?
Oakland is beautiful. I think that, I'm just driving around. It's a city that has a heart. A lot of cities don't have that. The city that has a soul, when you enter Oakland, you're really a part of that city. And that's why I love it, because I think that Oakland is kind of a role model in that.
I definitely agree. I think that is something that I really do admire about Oakland myself.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Our pens are potential. Their use is essential. Ink draws on paper, its black tints last forever.